Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm Alice Crow. I'm the Pittsburgh lead reporter for Technically. We are a news organization that covers the intersection of entrepreneurship, tech careers, and economic opportunity for aspiring and established technologists. Basically, we cover anything that spurs innovation in the ecosystem. We launched in Pittsburgh back in early 2020, building on 15 years of experience covering innovation across different regions. Make sure to sign up for our weekly Pittsburgh newsletter at Technically/subscribe and check out the other stories on our website. Our mission is to make news accessible for everyone, so our work is completely free and there's no paywall. Now let's get into it. Today I'm joined by Bingda Li, co-founder and CEO of Mito Robotics and a PhD candidate in biomedical engineering at Carnegie Mellon University. Bing's company, which is working to accelerate the development and deployment of intelligent robots in life science laboratories, recently secured a $1 million pre-seed investment from California-based Draper Associates, which is also known for its early investments in companies like Tesla, SpaceX, Robinhood, and Twitch. Bing, thanks for being here.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Let's start from the beginning. What sparked your interest in tech and entrepreneurship? Where do you think your journey started?
Yeah. So I did my undergrad at Wake Forest University, and I was major in kinesiology and also minor in biology, and I also minored in entrepreneurship. So that's kind of really how I started getting to the entrepreneurship field. And then when I was looking for graduate school, initially I was a pre-med, but then I was thinking, and I was getting more and more interested in entrepreneurship. I think engineering can be more of a help for me to get into the entrepreneurship field. So I was looking for biomedical engineering schools, and Carnegie Mellon, one of the top choice. And fortunately, I got in. And so I came to Pittsburgh, come to Carnegie Mellon University, did my master here. And when I was a master at Carnegie Mellon doing my biomedical engineering program, I was also in another program called Engineering and Technology Innovation Management Program. It's a long name. But like a lot of this, whether it's the undergrad minor in entrepreneurship as well as this master degree in the engineering management, kind of helped me get an idea on how to build a startup, how to manage startup, and how to solve problems in general. So that's kind of how I started in getting into the entrepreneurship field. And then being an engineering student at Carnegie Mellon, technology is like everywhere. So I always keep my eyes open to any type of problems that I can potentially solve using advanced technology.
Yeah. Was entrepreneurship something that was already in your family? At a young age, did you know, I want to start a company, or was that something that came along later?
Not really, to be honest. My dad was in the finance, but not really in the entrepreneur. I mean, when my dad was little, he did start some like very small business, but he was losing money. It was not a great business. I don't think any of my family members has this gene in entrepreneurship, in that business. Maybe they did, but it was not being explored very well. So when I came to the U.S. when I was 14 years old, everything is about entrepreneurship, really. So I think it really kind of opened up my mind of who I want to be. Especially there's more potential than just going to work. And especially coming to Carnegie Mellon, I realized that maybe I can do something bigger as well through entrepreneurship. So that just, a lot of opportunities is there, a lot of support, a lot of resource. So, it's more than just my will going after this entrepreneurship journey. Is a lot of the ecosystem surrounding me that helped me kind of shape the journey.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned that you came to America when you were 14. How has your experience as an immigrant influenced your path in the tech world? Were there any surprising challenges or unexpected advantages along the way?
I would say I kind of seen the growth of the technology in both countries. If right now, when we talk about technology, the top two countries we think about it is probably just China and the US. I mean, Europe, Japan, Korea, they're doing great things as well. But on the news headlines, China and the U.S. are really, getting a lot of attentions, especially in the AI and the robotics. So I think I kind of I have this opportunity because I'm a bilingual. I have the opportunity to see the articles from both sides, see the news from both sides, talk to the people from both sides, and I think that kind of shaped me as an entrepreneur as well, is trying to get the best out of the two field or two space or the two countries. I mean, in China, a lot of the focus is on how to make things cost effective, and in the US, I think a lot of focus is making how to make the technology as advanced as possible. And then when I developed my robot for lab automation, then I start thinking about how can I make the robot as advanced as possible, but also as accessible as possible for research labs, not only the labs that are very well funded, but also the labs that's not very well funded. How can I create something that they can also have their hands on as well?
Yeah. You secured a $1 million pre-seed investment. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Securing funding from a firm like Draper Associates is no small feat. Can you walk us through how that came together and what advice you give to other founders trying to raise capital right now?
Yeah. So I think there was definitely a lot of luck. I mean, Draper, they are a big name, very reputable, very prestigious VC firm. So in 2023, we were kind of in this pitch competition, just pitching our ideas, and we get in touch with Draper's people, and that's how we started the connection with Draper. And then earlier this year, we starting to pitch at them again. We were like, okay, here's what we've done so far. We've done some research on our technologies. We'd like to show you again. We'd like to see if this is something interests you, and we did made a lot of progress. We secured customers this year. We had a great technology advancement in terms of that prototype development, MVP development, and we showed them our technology. We showed them what we can do. We showed them the customer's feedback, and they were like, yeah, this might be something that could change the future of lab automation. So then they just wrote a check for us.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit more about Mito Robotics. So what's the state of lab automation at this moment, and where could it take it?
Yeah, so it's actually originated from my research in biomanufacturing. So a little bit background on my research. I developed this new type of therapy called exosome therapy, which is these small vesicles released from cells for signaling, things like that. It's kind of used as an alternative to cell therapy. So we developed these exosome therapies for organ transplantation purposes, collaborating with the Mayo Clinic. So we want to have this therapy treat the organs before they are being transplanted to the body, and hopefully we can recondition some of those organs, rejuvenate some of these organs before they are transplanted, and then after the transplantation, maybe that could increase the outcome, the transplantation outcome. So that's the goal. And then another project of mine is how can we get as much of that exosomes or the vesicles as possible, or so-called extracellular vesicles. And because they are collected from cells, I have to culture a lot of cells. But at the current stage, a lot of cell culture in the lab is done by humans themselves. I have some of my colleagues in the other lab working on 3D bioprinting, tissue engineers. So they are trying to, engineer small hard tissue. And I see them culture 10, 20, 30 flasks of cells all the time and just be in the lab all the time. And I was there as well. So I was like, there's got to be a better way of doing this, because manually culturing these cells, first of all, we do not get enough yield. Without having this yield, we cannot make this therapy or having enough cells to print that hard at all. We can only do it at a very small scale. And then second, how can we let some automation to do that? Then I start looking at some of the existing technologies. There's a thing called bioreactor, of course. Most of them are used in the production stage. In the research stage, there are still bioreactors, but the thing is, you can only culture one cell at a time, but then we culture a lot of different type of cells. So we have that kind of a flexibility issues. And then there are some other technologies that are either too expensive, that in academia lab it's really hard to adopt, and then too difficult to use, and then cannot culture cells at all, or they claim they culture cells, but really no one uses them to culture cells. So I do see that there's probably an opportunity that that could be used for starting my entrepreneurship journey. So that's how I get it started, is trying to bridge my research using this technology, or coming up with this technology to help me with my research.
What's been maybe one of the toughest challenges you've faced so far in your career, and how did you work through it?
The toughest challenge of my career, like both the startup?
Yeah, just in general, like what challenges have you faced, and how did you overcome them when they arise?
Well, for my research, I mean, cell culture is one of the challenges, to be honest, is just to get enough cells. Now I have, because we have this collaboration with the Mayo Clinic, so some of the scientists at Mayo, they help me culture cells in their facility as well. So they do some of that exosomes collection work for me, and then they will ship that exosome. So technically, I did not solve this problem. I just outsourced this to someone who's much well equipped at doing this, to do this for me. But that's some of the challenge that I had for my research in exosomes. But then in terms of the startups, I think initially it was just fundraising, to be honest. We started in Pittsburgh. We were really looking to have resources supported in Pittsburgh, but initially we were having a little bit hard time. I think, first of all, me and my co-founder Xinyu, when we had this idea, she was a master in robotics at Carnegie Mellon as well. Although great school, great name, great program, we were all first-time founders. Don't have a strong portfolio behind us, so I think initially a lot of people just do not believe that we can bring that to happen, because we're not just developing a software, we're developing actual big robot, the robot that's bigger than the fridge in your home. So not a lot of people believe that we can do that. But now we already have part of the robot delivered to customers' labs. So I think to have everything finalized, we aim to have the full robot by the end of this year. Yeah.
Amazing! Wow. I guess kind of off that. When you're facing challenges, setbacks, how do you push through? Is there like a higher mission that like gets you up in the morning? Is there something that you really want to solve? Obviously this is an issue you want to solve, but yeah, anything that like really motivates you deep down.
So I really like my research at the Carnegie Mellon, working with the Mayo Clinic. Some of the best scientists and the physicians in the world, and collaborating with them, meaning that what we're doing here, like the research, is not just for a publication and that's it. It's actually will be developed for clinical use. After we've done our animal studies, our modelings, our assays, we will progress to the clinical testing. And then it will actually, I can visualize that being materialized, the research being materialized to actual therapy, to help people. So I think that's really motivating me every day to just get up and get into the lab and do my research. And then for my startup, it's because it's so intertwined between my research and the startup, a lot of research is overlapping. I have to get the cell culture automation ready for a research like mine, so that scientists like me, they don't have to keep stocking on the cell culture step. They can have enough cells so that when they want to scale up their experiment, they will just tell the robot, prepare this much of the cells for me, and then they get all these cells and they can really accelerate their research. Right now, I'm kind of stuck because I don't have enough exosomes in high quality. So I just hope that the robot that we are developing can address that issue.
Yeah. What kinds of opportunities or support systems like boot camps, accelerators, mentorship have been especially valuable to you on this journey so far?
Yeah, so since we had this idea of developing an intelligent robot for cell culture automation, that was in the late fall of 2022. The first boot camp we kind of participated was the Kickstart Customer Discovery boot camp at Carnegie Mellon University. So they were really organizing that as the NSF I-Corp regional program. So it it teaches you how to do customer discovery, things like that. So initially, the first 2 years, me and my co-founder was really just focused on self-education, educating ourselves on how to do customer discovery, how to do market analysis, how to do this business analysis, and talk to as much people around us as possible, just to make sure the problem that we're solving is truly a universal problems around the labs instead of just my problems. I mean, it could be just my problem. It could be just me being bad at cell culture. But turns out there's a lot of complaints, a lot of people looking for solutions for automating that. And then we also reached out to this program called Ascender. So they have a lot of great programs, a lot of great educational resources. They provided a lot of that resource to us as well, and also some of the financial support for the idea, for the research. So that's one thing I strongly recommend for Pittsburgh-based startups or innovators. They're looking for support. They don't know where to start. I think they can reach out to Ascender. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. For founders looking to break into a similar space, what's one piece of advice you wish someone had given to you earlier on?
One piece of advice, I think it's to be very confident at what you're doing. So especially during the fundraising stage. So initially, when we were reaching out to investors, telling our ideas, I don't think we were confident enough. Because they were throwing a lot of challenging questions at us, and each question is like a bullet. And we have to kind of take on each of those bullets, and every time we started to question ourselves: Are we doing this? Is this a right idea? But we had a lot of convincing data from the customer discovery side. And then from the investor side, they were like, okay, I don't see this has a great market potential. Maybe they're right. Maybe they see things that we don't see. But I think if I telling the me who was like 1 year before, I would tell myself that you need to stand your ground, be much more confident, because you also know something that they don't as well. You talk to all these customers, all these scientists that the investor probably didn't talk. So they don't know the insights from all these customers. So I think it's not just, you begging these investors to invest in you. It's that you show them the data, you show them where you are, be confident, and especially you've been in the field for some times. So I think just be very confident.
Yeah. I guess kind of to wrap up, what's next for you? What's next for Mito Robotics? What can we expect from you in the next couple months, year, something like that?
Yeah, so what's next for us is we are delivering our final robot to one of our customers, and we will show some more videos once it's finished, delivered, of course, with approval from the customer. And we look forward to have some publications using our robot for certain cell-based studies, tissue engineering, my research, and then hopefully, we can expand more customer base from there with all this data. And right now, in terms of fundraising, we probably would start thinking about seed strapping. So we could generate enough revenue for us to sustain for a few years. So that's the goal. So I mean, Draper really created a lot of support for us so far. So we love to really leveraging that support and create as much of a value for us and for them as well. And of course, for the customers.
Yeah.
So that's the plan for the next steps.
Amazing. Well, Bing, thanks for talking with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much, Alice.